Yeah, you get weaker. Every day you feel a little pack. It seems like you're getting weaker and you can't stand up and go on. And your voice will change on it. I can tell my voice has changed a big lot since I getting older all the time. I ain't got a clear voice like I used to have. Seems like my voice is higher or something that is not real clear like it used to be. And I'll caught that pretty quick. And then another thing, you just ain't got the strength to go on with your work like you used to have. Well, before I took that black lung, I got here and worked all day long, hard work. Never sat down for nothing. Now, just a few minutes I'll sit down and rest. That's the difference in it. One time, making liquor, me and my cousin, now these are big 50-gallon barrels, you've seen them. Wooden barrels, and that's what people used to put the beer in and make liquor in. Mash a beer meal in it, whole 50-gallon. And my cousin one day, we was going to the hills to put us up a run liquor. He had 2 pokes meal and I had 2 pokes. He said, by dog, said, I hate to make 2 trips down here at this. I said, yeah, I do too. He said, just wait a minute. He put them 2 pokes meal in his barrel. He was way bigger than I was too. And right up that hill he went. I said to myself, doggone, I ain't gonna let you outdo me. I put my 2 pokes meal in a barrel. He got about halfway the hill, he laid his barrel down to rest. And I went right on, I just passed him right on up, went up further up the mountain I was going till I went around the hill. He said, boy, he said, did you get tired? I said, nah, I got a little short-winded before I got up here. He said, I had the rest of mine. And well, I had more strength than he had in a way, but he was a lot bigger than I was. Well, you first know him. Yes, a fellow named Presbyterian, I know Buck knows him. Mm-hmm. And he was a much bigger man than I was. And yeah, I can tell a big lot in the weakness of my body now it did back before I took the operation. And my body weakened down a big lot since I took my operation. But one thing about it, not changing the subject all the way around, my operation, I was 4 days and 5 nights. I seen every old demon ever be thought about. They had me knocked out where I took that operation. The doctor, he didn't want to operate on me. He knowed I'd never get off the operating table. He dreaded it. He told me one day, he said, Mr. Sexton, he said, it looks like I'm going to have to do that operation. He said, I've done everything I can for you. He said, my medicine's not helping you. I said, it ain't one thing about it. I said, I can't live this way. I said, if it's the Lord's will, He'll let me live. If it's His will, I said, I will die. And he said, well, if that's the way you feel about it, he said, looks like I ain't have to do the operation. I said, that's perfectly all right with me. The morning when they come and got me out of my bed, I took me right in there at the operating table. I rolled off into my bed and got on the head. Thought no more about it. I just felt like my Lord is with me. And before they put me to sleep and give me the spine shot, I asked my Lord, I belong to Him. He'd do what He wants to do with me. Take my life or let me live whatever He wants to do. They said that doctor come back out of that operating room. They kept me in there about 4 hours and a half or 5 hours. They said that was the pleasantest doctor ever they saw in their life. Said that man pulled through. And but it was 4 days and 5 nights. I didn't know nothing that had me knocked out. And from that day to now, I never felt the first pain from that operation. They cleaned me out pretty well clean, took my bladder out, put a tube in my side here, and everything. And they went down as far down they could. They had the cancer. They couldn't get it all from down in here. They gave me them a radar shot. And I don't know where they hooked me in or not. They asked me was it helping me. I said, I don't know where it's helping me or not. I ain't felt no pain, never have felt no pain. I ain't today, since they operated on me. Now, there ain't many people tell you that. I ain't felt the first pain from that operation. And they cleaned me out good, I reckon, what he said about me. But I feel weak. I ain't got the strength I had before he operated on me.
Is there anything good about retirement?
Yeah, it sure helped me out a lot. Now, I can tell you before they operated on me, boy, I thought 2 or 3 times I was gone, buddy. They took me to Whitesburg. My water stopped on me, and they had to put a cast in me. And I wore it for 1 month before they operated on me. And, buddy, I just know that I had it then. And that's how come he said, you can't wear that cast all the time. And I said, I know that I can't. He said, well, let's do the operation. And he didn't have no idea how to get off the operating table. Dr. Goldie done the operation on me. And I'm well pleased with it, too. As long as it lasted.
What do you think of this award, this National Heritage Award?
But yeah, you know what? That, I don't know. I just can't explain that out to you in a way. I'll tell you why. They asked me to go down in Tennessee. They called me down there. I wanted to play down there. Well, I got about halfway down there, and I looked down. Of course, now my overall's dirty now. You probably look over me over that. Had on overalls. They was clean. And they was about half wore out, I guess. And that is good and clean. I looked down at my overalls. I said, shucks. Come out here and turn around coming back. Accident to bring them back. I said, no, I went this far. I'm going on down in Tennessee. Went down there, and everything I seen down there in Mountain Yard, women and men had on overalls. Well, buddy, that turned me up a lot then. And everybody was good to me, running up and hugging me and everything, and asking me all about my playing. All but Ralph Stanley. I said to myself, now I want to hold a congregation with that man, talk to him about his music. Went up and spoke to him. He looked around at me. On and off he went. He wouldn't even speak to me. Well, that kind of hurt my feelings a bit, thanking a man like that. And I'm way down here. Won't even talk to me. I said, it looks like I ain't fit to talk to. And run into Grandpa Jones. I knowed him just because I'd seen him. I said, well, I'll try him out. And I went over to him, asked him, I said, something about him playing. I said, Grandpa, I said, I've got some of your records, and I'd like to hear you play and everything. Can't hear her. On and off, he never said a howdy and nothing else to me. That hurt me again. But I just sat there silent. There's actually a big banjo player went to come around to me, asked me questions, hugging me, asked me every kind of question. Who taught me how to play? And what lesson did I take up? And I was surprised. Said, I told him I just took it up by my own self and said, Mr. Sexton said, you are a banjo player. He said, we've never heard nobody play a banjo like you played one. Said, your singing and your notes is all going in together at the same time. Said, we never could figure that out. Well, I come back home and nobody wrote me, nobody called me, and nothing. Mike Stevens come over here after that. He said they all seemed like they were playing awful well down there. And I said, they did. He said, yeah. I said, well, I ain't nobody ever wrote me, never called me, nothing. I said, that fella got me come down there. I said, he never even wrote me in the line or nothing. Well, passed on then. Whenever they called me up about that heritage, this woman said, is this Mr. Sexton? I said, yeah. He said, I don't know where you know it or not, but said, you won that heritage. I said, me? Boy, I thought I'd faint. I said, I know they couldn't win. I said, it can't be so. I said, yes, you did, too. She said, where you went down there in Tennessee and played, he said, everything down there was pulling for you. They liked your music, they bragging on your playing, and she said that they was absolutely aggravating them to death. Talking about me, wanting me to win that heritage. And so it just passed on to Congress and the president, and they give it to me. And I'm well pleased with it, and I'm pleased with everyone that worked for me, too. I thank them ever so much that worked for me to get it. And that's how it come in. I didn't think I'd win it. I didn't think I was that banjo player, but the way I played, I reckon they just liked the way I played the banjo or something like that. And everybody out here talk said, a lot of them said they liked my way of playing. All I hate about it, I just ain't got a real good voice to sing like the other people do.
I've got one question. organ?
Uh-huh.
You keep talking about learning, kind of improving on your style of singing and your playing.
Yeah?
A lot of people would think that you don't need to do that anymore. You could just play the way you play and what you do now. It seems that you're always trying to do something more.
Well, it seems to like me playing it, huh? Well, what it is, I can't explain it. I see turning in my voice, that's what I'm trying to get to now. In the singing, as you sing a word, try to turn it off in a good mellow tune so it will sound up better. That's about all it is. And the banjo playing too. And change the note, something that is, most times it's a flat note. I'm trying to change that note, as pass that note up, that hit will have a good mellow sound, will ring right on and correspond right on in with the rest of my music. I don't know where you understand what I'm talking about or not. So just like now Ralph Stanley. Now Ralph Stanley music and everything, all his music and turning of his songs and his banjo, seems like it's got a good tone to it, turning off from one note onto another note. That's what I'm trying to get at, have a good turn to it. Not change my playing at all. Just trying to have a good tone and to changing the notes and the song, the words.
A lot of people might say, well, you already do that. You ought to just relax and play it.
Well, I'm well pleased with the way the people are. I appreciate everybody. That's the thanks and the welcome that they have given to me.
Who do you like? Do you like Ralph? What music do you like to listen to?
Well, I can't hold no grudge against Ralph and the Grandpa and our one, for all they didn't like the music. But as they serve me that way, I'm turning on somewhere that I can't help it. But now I tell you who is a good player I like to hear anymore is that Doc Watson. Now, buddy, he's in banjo, anybody on play. And that's our other feller. I thought his name a while ago. He sang high. He sang that song about one loaf of bread. What's his name?
Dave Evans.
Dave Evans. I like the way he plays. And then the Marshall family. I do like the Marshall family, boy. Now, them the three I'm really going for their music, buddy.
You ever like country music? Was there any country music that you liked a lot, like Gene Autry or anything like that?
No, not when I was growing up, but my brother, he had a lot of records of them. And I didn't like their playing much, the way they played. And
What's that? What did it sound like to you? What didn't you like about it?
Well, I don't know, it seemed like it had too many stalling places in it. They play a little and then stop, then they go on with it again. And it just didn't sound like I played somewhere or another. I can't explain it out. But, and played sort of like another fellow, I can't never think of their name. Jimmy Rogers and all of them. Now they're playing, I like Jimmy Rogers playing in a way, but it seemed like he had a lot of stalling places in his music, and I didn't like much. And of course, you know, everybody not liking music. You like one song, I don't like it, so there you go with it. And just like Mike Sherman said, he said, if everybody played the same tune, he said, did you know that Eddie Wallace said it wouldn't have no music? He said it took every kind of music to keep the world going, and I'd agree with him. And people like guitar music, people like mandolin. Everybody went to guitar, and there wouldn't be no music. And then everybody went to banjo, everybody went to fiddle, and he said nobody wouldn't get tired of it, and said wouldn't have no music. He said it takes all kind of music to make the wheel turn, and it does. Hey, some people like one kind of music, some like another kind of music.
Music's pretty important, huh?
So I can't say nothing about nobody about their music, boys.
Yeah, I think it's real important for at least some of us to keep a hold on what's old, you know.
Well, that's what Mike said.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have it.
Yeah? Yeah, he says everybody just went with one kind of music. Guitar, band, something like that. Next thing you know, everybody get tired of it and said you wouldn't have no music at all. And I'd agree with him. Well, you can go to places You let somebody get in and play a real good mellow song like I play. No, I'm not bragging on myself, but I say just like I play. A lot of people enjoy it. But now these young people, though, they don't care too much about that young boy and girl. Now let somebody get there and play a hot tune and a rock and roll or something like that. They'll try to tear the house top off and enjoy hearing it play. Now that's the way the people are going. Some people like one kind of music, some people like another kind of music. Now I guess that's what makes the big wheel turns.
Okay.
Well, probably I should shoot a couple pictures from here. That's kind of what.
Okay, well, I'll just go into town and everything. I don't know if you usually go by yourself or does Virgie usually
Now
go?
sometimes if Virgie feels like she goes with it. Big point time though Virgie goes with me in town.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, if she feels like it, then if she don't feel like it, well, I'll go by myself.
Uh-huh.
I don't like to travel by myself. Man, you get out like that, I like to have somebody to talk to all the time.
Uh-huh. Well, when would you be going again, do you think?
I'll,
Chris?
yeah?
Hmm.
And you want to have some live music there?
Yeah.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
I mean Thursday night. Well,
Yeah, tomorrow night, yeah.
Who is it playing?
Timmy Klein and Al Elliott will be there tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Timmy's the son of Curly Ray, plays fiddle for Ray.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now, he's good too.
Uh-huh.
When you go to do grocery shopping or anything like that, do you go all the way into town or do you just go to corner?
Yeah. Okay, I got stores around down here. I can buy stuff cheaper than pay my way, go all the way up there. But what it is, while I'm up there, I do my trading up there. You see.
Well, if you were going to come in tomorrow, would you also want to go shopping some, or would you?
Probably maybe, yeah. Wait a little late, come in, and don't know what I get, won't learn in the car. Boy, you can't keep nothing in the car now, hardly. You be there tomorrow night?
No,
Don't know.
I wasn't planning today. Not
I didn't know.
not for the bluegrass, but if you were coming in earlier, we might just do.
Be in the town next week, for I've got every bill never even thought about to pay next week.
Oh,
Now, that
yeah,
might be
that's the
university.
first day of
Got
the
my
month.
phone bill and
You
house
talk about a
insurance
sense
to
of a
pay, and
community, you get it on those days.
Yeah.
electric bill to pay, and everything. Then outside. You gotta be careful about taking that little bar. I mean, look at dude. I'm not do from that little bar.
We won't touch it.
I'll be out and
Oh,
all about it.
we're not going to be close to the wire.
Keep the coons out.
Is that what it was? I was wondering if it's groundhogs. Yep, your beans look good too.
Valley, you know, that we're kind of sunk in here. This
Didn't John
mountain.
Morgan say that? Or Bernie Norman? We are of this valley. And James Still.
I thought it was Prisoning Hills.
I'm not of.
And what about you? You got rough ears?
Ours aren't out yet. We don't have good sized ears yet, but we will pretty soon.
Well, let me get you some. I don't know about books. I don't know.
You know what?
All winter, them beans got to the ground somewhere or another, and come back up, and I'm going to take care of them and see what to make
You
this year.
figure they're survivors, huh?
They sure are. They sure are. boy.
Actually, I misunderstood you. I would take a few roasting here.
Okay, then. Oh, yeah,
But
okay.
I can't handle very many of them. I don't believe it's corn.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, cucumber.
Good ones.
There's another one right that's hiding from you.
Get into it.
I don't need any cucumbers, but you Sure got another one down in there.
I'm not sure it's the best corn is on the market. Silver Queen's ever raised any of it?
Yeah.
Oh, this one's hiding too. Yeah.
Right here is a big one. He would tell me more.
Okay.
Hey, Andy, I think I'm out of tape.
Okay.
You'll see him right up here.
Andy, I'm not